Now, a severe thunderstorm alert has been issued for Gauteng with warnings of possible localized flooding. Emergency teams responded to distress calls yesterday after heavy rains caused damage in parts of the province. Nqobile Madlala and Johannesburg EMS spokesperson Robert Mulaudzi joining us live now from Johannesburg with more details. Let's hand it over to Nqobile now first. In certain areas, we've seen a whole host of flooding. We saw parts of the Galuli's interchange even see flooding, so there had to be diversions had even in those areas. What are you seeing around you now, Nqobile? Good morning.
Good morning, Arabella. So from where we are, we're basically looking at the areas that are prone to flooding. Now, you'll see that when they had that caution around the weather, they did explain that there are various parts that will be affected. So we're currently in Soweto, which is one of the parts, one of the places that they said could potentially be affected. Behind me, you'll see that's one of the 352 informal settlements that are currently in Johannesburg. And these are the areas that are basically affected by flooding because of the fact that they sit on the right next to the river, which is some of the areas that we've been told not to obviously have housing there because it becomes wetland. But of course, officials, we understand, that are watching these areas quite closely. It's not the only area that is expected to be affected by these showers and potential thunderstorm as well as floods. There are various areas that have been affected. You saw the Golden Walk in the East Rand as well that was also affected. Galuli's interchange as well as Marlborough were one of the areas that were also affected. We heard also Beklu were one of the areas that were affected. This was yesterday. So we remain to see then just how bad it's going to be today. At the moment, it's just partly cloudy. It's very cold, mainly because of the fact that it was really rainy yesterday.
Yeah, and that significant movement in the weather and that shift is certainly of concern to certain areas, particularly low-lying areas as well. So, Nqobile, let's speak to the emergency management services who are monitoring those low-lying areas and are ready for any eventuality. Johannesburg EMS spokesperson Robert Mulaudzi joining us live with more details. Robert, thank you so much for the time. Appreciated. One, of course, believes that you'll be having your ears to the ground at a time like this. Any injuries, fatalities, or serious situations that you've encountered over the last 24 hours?
Thank you very much, Arabile, and good morning to the viewers. So far, we have not yet recorded any incidents which were reported overnight and also this morning in most parts of the city of Johannesburg. However, as you are aware, our residents in our low-lying areas, especially our informal settlements, those will be the hardest hit when we have severe thunderstorms like the ones we have now, because already most of them, they are residing along river streams, and most of them, they are also in a flood line. So we also already have monitoring teams in those areas who are monitoring to ensure that if there's a need for us to evacuate them, we can be able to do so. But so far, so good. We have not yet received any reports in those areas. We are still pleading with our residents in those areas, Arabile, to avoid crossing river streams when they are conducting their daily activities, because mostly when they conduct their daily activities, they cross river streams, which might be dangerous now that the water levels are much more higher. We also still pleading with our motorists to exercise caution, extend the safe following distance, and of course, try and avoid crossing flooded roads and low-lying bridges, because vehicles might be swept away while, motorists are trying to cross those areas. So from our side, we've got all our fire stations fully operational. Over and above that, we've got a specialized unit, which we call Aquatic Rescue Unit, which is a team of men and women who specialize in water-related emergencies, which is on high alert, so that if there's a need for us to, assist people who might be stranded, we can be able to activate that team to assist our residents. So our residents are encouraged to call our Emergency Services Command and Control Center on 011-375-5911 for any life-threatening emergencies.
Yeah, could you please repeat that number for us just very quickly as well, just so we could actually have that out to our audience as well. You said it's 011?
Yes, the number is 011-375-5911. that's the number which our residents can call for any life-threatening emergencies.
For life-threatening emergencies, 011-375-5911. I know you spoke about the low-lying areas, and we're even showing live visuals out of Soweto, where a informal settlement is very close to a river stream, and that could be areas of concern. Are you able to detail any specific areas that you're watching at present? I mean, one imagines that areas like Alexandra perhaps get keen focus, towards the east gets a bit of keen focus as well, considering what we saw yesterday.
Yes, we've got three critical, river streams in the city of Johannesburg. We've got Kalfontein, which is the one crossing around Midrand, Kanana, and the surrounding areas. And we've got the one, Klip Valley, which is cutting across Dlamini, Kliptown, and surrounding areas in Soweto. That's where Nqobile is now. And then also we've got Jackskay, which is around Alexander and surrounding areas. So all those river streams now, the water levels are much more high. So we are monitoring those areas to ensure that we higher ground or evacuate. But so far, so good. We've also done a lot of work in terms of conducting our around the 1st of September, where we were going out to our communities. You will know that when we have severe thunderstorms, our residents are also tempted to visit river streams to conduct baptisms and cleansing rituals because the water levels are much more higher. So therefore, they are tempted to go to those areas. So we've conducted a lot of campaigns to conscientize our residents about the dangers of conducting these, baptisms and cleansing rituals, and now that the water levels are much more higher. So we're hoping that this time around, during this summer season, because we're still going to receive a lot of rainfall, so our residents will avoid, visiting these areas to conduct these baptisms and cleansing rituals, so that we can prevent incidents where we have witnessed a number of residents in the city of Johannesburg losing their lives while they're conducting baptisms and cleansing rituals.
I'll let you get back to your job there. It's definitely a tough one, but as you said, ears to the ground and watching those low-lying areas and those critical areas around the province there. Johannesburg EMS spokesperson Robert Mulaudzi, as we continue to watch the situation out of the province. And let me head back to you, Nqobile, and I don't know if you've been able to speak to any residents, whether they're concerned around the rising water levels in and around that river stream and the situation that they consistently face in terms of fear of the rising water in and around that area and the impact on that informal settlement.
Well, at the moment, Arabile, we've been able to speak to some of those that have been passing here. It doesn't seem like it's something of a big threat currently, but there is, of course, a concern if the river does go up, that the water does fill up, that it does affect them. You'll remember Jaskay is one of the areas that have been mostly affected in Alexandra, where we have seen some of the homes even being washed away in the past. So there's always that great concern, especially also when it's like this. You know that it's very cold to live in spaces like that. So there is that sense of anxiety that is building up with the hope that it doesn't continue to do rain and that the thunderstorm doesn't continue for so long. So there is that sense of concern. But at the moment, obviously, people will just have to continue with what they have. But we had also reached out to EMS, as you could hear there. They did speak about the low-lying areas being the areas that they can quickly go to assist those that are affected. But yesterday we know that Jaskay was one of the areas that were particularly concerned when we were driving around Alexandra, especially towards the area of Marlborough. You could see already that the water was going up, but at the moment no one currently affected.
Very important conversation, and we'll be continuing to watch all these low-lying areas and give you a sense of how things are faring. Of course, everything from mudslides to meanders have certainly been very important. Nqobile, thank you so much for bringing us that update. Again, that EMS number for critical and life-threatening concerns when it comes to what is happening out of Johannesburg in terms of any localized flooding and key worries, do please call 011 375 5911. 911. Do use that number where you can.